This is Shipping Explorer, folks. This is coming to you from your friend from College Park, Maryland, and wishing you all the best today and on a dreary day. We call it a dreary day. Look at this. Look at College Park, man. Look at the mist. But I don't I don't want to depress you because Shippy the Explorer is here to bring good news of every situation. It's raining. It's supposed to be 30% rain. It's still cloudy in, look at it. It's still cloudy in the neighborhood. And and the only good thing about today is that our ice is going. Look at the ice going. I'm telling you, it's going. And a number of birds. Let's see if we can see the birds. We can zoom now. We can zoom into the trees and we can find the birds. Let's see if we can find them. Wow. There you are. There they are. They're cold too, maybe hungry, but I we too are hungry too sometimes. But you can hear some more. They're in the flock of birds, and they are somewhat happy. And so, in the middle of the raindrops, I put on my red cap. Don't make a mistake and say I'm advocating for some people. Now, this is just what is on this one. It says DC. It just means District of Columbia. That means somebody in the family got this cap and they left it here, so I can use it today to keep my keep my um, keep my self warm, and so that's what I'm doing. But on a dreary day like this, when it's not sunshine, not a sunshine, we you tend to want to stay in the house. You don't want to get out, and you don't feel. Sometimes we get depressed, and sometimes we just want to. You don't want to see family members. You don't want to see anyone. You don't want to deal with anything. You don't want to deal with your health, your your livelihood, and sometimes you don't want to get out of the house and go to work if that's the case. So that's that's the impression that we that I get sometimes. I remember in the old days when we used to live in the hills of St. Andrew, Jamaica, and we have a rainy day, I'm telling you. And as soon as the rain comes, you don't want to get out of the house and go anywhere. Actually, umbrella doesn't help you sometimes in the Caribbean. The tropical rain is just pouring down, and you get your shoes wet. Of course, in the poor state, you don't have water boot or a rain boot, and the umbrella is just blowing away. And I remember as a teacher, I stay home because when you go to the classroom and you make an effort to get to the classroom, you hardly find any student there. And so it come like a waste of time to even go and be lecturing to one person or two persons in the classroom. And so you don't want to do that. So cold weather, cold, dreary, lack of sunshine weather tends to have that effect on our body. And so, but sometimes what Shippy the Explorer does is encourage us to dress as warm as possible, like what I'm doing now, and get out into the garden and walk around the neighborhood, and see what you can open your eyes to. It helps to be out of the house no matter what is happening to you. Here we are. So here we are in College Park in the dreary day, and I'm saying, I'm putting this video out and said, put the sunshine back into your soul, regardless of what is happening today. Regardless of what is happening today, put the sunshine back into your mind, into your spirit, and think. Don't look like the birds that are on the tree now and they acting like they don't even have anything. They can't. They look like they are suffering, but they're not suffering. I think they are warmer than us. They're warmer than us. And here we are in another set up this side. So let me take a walk up the street as I'm encouraging you to do, and I'm doing that today. So what can Shippy the Explorer talk about today? I'm talking about, it's the time for, in America, it's time for tax, it's a time for budget, it's a time for starting the financial year over, and it's a time to also for insurance, changes of insurance. It's also a time to find new jobs, and so all of these things come bustling down on you, and they come in a rush on this society. So the topic today, the main topic, is the fact that I'm saying staying in the society and be part of the overall rush and bustle of the society, or should we just drop out of society and be a vagabond? Be a vagabond? Well, some of you may not know that term, but what it really means is that it's not a vagabond. Yeah, a vagabond or hobo means, in American term, you just going around from place to place, city to city, hitchhiking around the country, of no stable place to live, no stable place to stay. And you may stay in an hotel or a motel or hostel, or you may sleep in the park at certain times, and you just go around. Hobo, a rolling stone. In the Caribbean we say a rolling man who acts like a rolling stone. He gathers no moss because he's just moving, and so he doesn't have a stable, he or she doesn't have a stable place to live. And so if you move from place to place, then you tend not to achieve a stable way of life. So it's being a hobo or a stable person, in this responsible person in the society, then it's those two things. That's the topic for Shippy the Explorer. Being a responsible person in society and deal with it, or being a hobo or a vagabond. So here we are. Well, maybe we should get some perspective on the birds, see they hear me and they keep quiet. Smarter than us. Anyway, let's go back to the topic of being a responsible person and being a hobo. Now, being a responsible person in the American society, I'm going to talk about American society because that's where we are. You know, you go to school and you study and you leave your parents' house, and some of us, we are immigrants, so we come here without a penny in our pocket, maybe $5 or maybe $50, and we come to this country. And if you're not able to get the support of people within the classroom, people within the church system, people within the society, in your immediate neighborhood, or friends or family, then you're at a disadvantage. You're disadvantaged. But let's say you come up with $100 in your pocket, and you come to this country and you start, let's see, and you start to live. And in my case, I started with, I think it was $150. And we came with a barrel, and a little suitcase, and I started life. And when I came, I did not have anything. I was trying to get back to school, into college or university, and some reason the paper got messed up. And so, but I decided that whatever happened, I'm going to survive in the American society. So I start to get into the cooking industry, and then at $1.10 an hour, and so I survived like that. So then I pay the bills, and gradually I got another job, and so I survived till the family came, and so I continued to progress. Then from work into another work, from one work to the next, I survived and start to pay into the society. You start to, from your paycheck, you pay your little tax, and you pay your rent, you buy your food, and so when the family comes together, then you start to, both of you, wife and husband, put together, and you start to take care of your kids. So sometimes you hold off on having kids, but you know, comfort of having kids. Having kids is also a comfort because it allows you a sense of connection. So in my case, we started having, actually we brought one child with us, and so we we had a ready family, ready, so we can. So being a responsible person is that I worked, well, both of us worked, but I worked mainly, and then my wife worked at another time, and then one is going through the door, one is coming in, and so the child was able to survive. So in this American society, being a responsible person, you work, you go to school, right? You pay your bills, whether tax or sales tax or income tax, you pay your rent, and you buy your clothes and your food, and take care of your kids and family. And if you're religious, then you have a time when you go and take care of of your family. So in our case, that's what we do. So that's being a responsible person in the society, and so we gradually do that. Now, and we do that year after year. And now we are in this part of the world for over 40-something years, and so we have managed to stay. But there are times when things don't go right, and it's when the pile of bills come down, and I remember one time I was working maybe $1.10 an hour, and I had to go miles to work. That's after the food services. I got into a thing called iron workers, And Iron Workers Union, local number 5, is when I would get a little bit more money. But what they would do with the first time, not even apprentice, I don't even know if they called us apprentice back those days. They would send us far and wide, and that requires uh, transportation. So transportation, man, when you just come to this country, you don't have enough money to buy transportation. So I went out, and we had gotten a little old 1965 Dodge Monica 4-bar carburetor. I would drink all the gas in it, and I fixed up with my dollar. That time I was making about $3 an hour, and I remember coming home and the car broke down. So here we are. I have to get to work. So got the car to the garage, and then managed to get to work. And then at the end of the week, my little $100 and something dollars, or $150 or what it was, guess what? All that had to go into paying the mechanic to fix the car too, so that I can be ready for the next week. Poor guy. That's the frustration of things. Now this is Friday, you're taking all your money and you put it in an old car because you have to get to work. Then what about food? What about rent? What about clothing? What about the rest of the family? You know? So all that money is going into a structure to get going. So you're frustrated, super frustrated, man. And that's where, you know, sometimes you feel like it makes you want to drop out of the society. You make you want to be an hobo, a vagabond, rolling man without responsibility. But then you think of when you're having a wife and kid in the society, and you're paying, you have bills to pay, then sometimes you change your mind. But another situation is that before I even got into Iron Workers Union, I was working as a construction person, and it was cold like this, and I went, and I think I talked about this before. I stretched a ladder up. I was a painter, and I stretched a ladder up, you know, another 30 feet up in the sky, up in the air, and lean it onto the building. And the house was wet and cold, and I had to use a rag to clean off the water and the ice from the material before I paint. And so my finger got so cold, and my body got cold, and so depression sat in, folks, came in, overcome the body. And so on the top of the ladder, up in the sky, in the cold weather, I started to cry. And so guess what I did? Couldn't survive up there, because if I'm on top of the ladder and depressed, I'm going to be in trouble. So I just timely got off the ladder, came down, packed up the ladder, closed the paint can, washed out the brush, and jumped in the old car and took home. I was depressed, folks, because the weather, the low pay, and the condition in which I'm working has caused me to be just don't want to deal with the problems of life. Don't want to deal with it. Got in the old car. The car was also cold and very little warmth in the car, you know. So here we are, just drove home, and I think my wife was home, and I just settled in to the car. Here comes the mailman. Here comes. So tell you, so I came home, and I don't remember what happened after that, because it was a depressing situation. Now, now you're thinking, as a family person, what the heck do I do? Do I just quit the society? Do I do quit the work, quit the thing, and just get out on the road and just wander away? No. In that condition, Shippy the Explorer became stronger. I became stronger, and so I must have bathed, got something to eat, settled down, and hope for another, a better next day. And I think that's what happened. The day got better, and so so I managed to stay with the society. Went back to work maybe a day after or so when it was warmer, and continue to live and to learn. Because when you think about it, to get onto the street, to drop the societal norms and get on the street with a whole little jacket and a few dollars in your pocket, and then when you reach down the road, no transportation, then you're thinking, what do I do to get food? I'm gonna start to beg, I'm gonna start to steal, I'm going to start to rob people, or just go into the back bushes and call myself a trash, we call it up here is a drum diver, or a trash bin diver. That means you're digging into the trash can for food. You're digging in to see if you can find something to eat. Now, is that a conscious way to live? Is that conscious? Or that carries an element of mental deficiency? Now, you can't really think it's a conscious thing if you have to live like that. Something must have dramatically pushed he or she to that extreme. And sometimes we think it's a mental condition. It's not just the dreariness of the society. It's not the pressures of the stress of, not pressures, the stress of dealing with the day-to-day activities. Something causes us in that condition to be weaker. So we are talking about Shippy the Explorer. We are talking about the fact that we're talking about the fact that it's one of those neighbors talking about the that's Sarah. Okay, I know who it is now. The fact that we are talking about being a responsible person and live in a society, or being a hobo. And so far, the points that we are making to stay in a society and live and be responsible, so far, it's leading. It's more beneficial than just dropping out of society. Because dropping out of society, as we say, it seems like it's leaning, what is pushing a lot of people in on that level, it seems like it's mental or depressive condition. Something is there that drives us further out of society. So, but all right. So Shippy the Explorer decided to stay within the norms of society, and here I am. I'm a YouTuber, and I'm a writer. I'm a content creator, and I'm loving it. Well, need you to subscribe, share, and love these videos and subscribe. Yes, because if I'm encouraging you and telling you all these good stories, then I wanted to share it with friends and family. And so when you subscribe and encourage other members to subscribe, then it helps me. So I think in the overall condition of living in the Americas, whether the weather is dreary as this, the condition is bad, it's freezing sometimes, it's better to be a member of the society. Now you stay in the society now and you work. You go to school, you work, you save, you take care of the family, you pay your taxes, and you join a religious body, or you volunteer, or you have something on the side where you can spend your free time. You can read, or you can walk, or you can hike, or you do something that your free time is using. Do something that is beneficial to you, not to necessarily to the family, but to you. So that's what I have done. And so being a member of the society versus hobo, I think I'm better off staying within the society. Now within the society you have certain problems. You have political, social, political, religious, and obstacles that you have to deal with. Let's talk about, we can't talk about too much of the politics, but the politics of things is that in this society there are basically two sides to the story, and you just have to choose one, the best one. But people have died. You know, this past, just a couple of days ago, Jesse Jackson passed. Reverend Jesse Jackson passed. And he was a protege of Martin Luther King. And this month we are celebrating African American or Black History Month. We're celebrating all that. And it's so unfortunate that he passed. He has passed at this time. And so, but we have to be reminded that in this country, we were at a disadvantage as African Americans, and women on a foot did not have the privilege to vote and exercise the right to vote, to live, and to vote for who you wanted to. That was lacking until 1968. I think they finally passed the Voter Rights Act, you know, President Johnson. And so with Jesse Jackson's passing, it's a good reminder that we have come a long way, and now we can vote and we can live where we want with some adjustment. Because if you look, I'm walking around in this society and I live in a wonderful neighborhood, and so far I don't have any flags being planted at my gate so far, because the neighbors seems that they are well adjusted and they're friendly and they are supportive of all folks, so far all folks that live in this society. So we live as comfortable as possible, and nobody bothers us so far, and we don't expect it because this society is good. So that's the politics of things in this country. You stay in the society where you want to live a decent life. And Martin Luther King had said it. He said, nobody should judge you by the color of your skin, but by the content of your character. And that is so right. If we are living a decent life, not a thief or a nasty person in the neighborhood, or noisy and disturbing the neighbor's livelihood, then, and we are keeping our environment clean and make sure we are okay, then we should be allowed, as we do, to live freely and be a respectable set of people as we are in this society. Yes, that's the condition in which we are living and which we should live. If we are being a disturbing set of people and we are treating the environmental bad, then fellow neighbors could say we are not supporting the cause of a society. Then they could probably be antagonistic to us and say they could probably vote you out, or they could probably bring in a group meeting and say they don't want this type of people in this. But I'm telling you, if you see that house, let's zoom down to that house. That house was filled with people, and there was a complaint that they had trash there for a little while and they weren't even treating the environmental good, and some members of the society of the area was complaining. So there was a concerted effort to ask them to leave or do better. Now that's the responsible thing to do. Now that's the politics of things. We as African Americans and women are free to live and to vote accordingly. Exercise your franchise, man. You're able to, buy within any area once you can afford it. That's the societal thing to do. Yes, so you're living accordingly. Yes, so you have politics and you have work environment. So now you have work environment to deal with. And the work environment is another kettle of things, because if you have educate yourself, then you should be able to find work accordingly based on your education. And that's where the tickle things come in. The social norms haven't caught up with that, because even women who work in the society, they're not getting the equal pay as men. And so that's also trickles down to certain groups. You know what I'm talking about. Certain groups, whether immigrants or if you're, for different culture, then it seems like the bosses of the workforce seems like they're saying that some people don't need to get equal pay as those who have been here for years or a certain group. And so when you're in a workplace, you have to be mindful that at certain times you don't get equal pay. So what do you do? When I was getting $1.10 an hour, the minimum wage You know what that was? It was $2.20. And the boss in the office decided, as I, as an immigrant, don't deserve to get even the minimum wage. So he paid me 50% of what was due. Now, do I deserve that? The government sets a standard minimum wage of $2.20, and here it is, a boss in the background in the workplace decide to give half. So they looked at, and many times they look at immigrants, they look and they say, you don't deserve to get even the minimum wage, or you don't even deserve to get equal pay as the rest of the other citizens. You don't deserve to get paid as equally as other people around. And what does that have to do with it? That has to do with discrimination. And so, whew, gas is strong here, boy. And so, let's look at 7312. I'm going to report that. Yes. So, one second here. Hi. One question. We have gas smell here. Should we call to the Hi, how are you doing? I'm doing a video, but it's alright. I have a strong gas smell here. It's not my place, but I'm walking. Should we report it to the office? Gas smell.
Oh, you got a gas smell?
Yeah, it's very strong right off here.
Yeah, you should.
Call your office?
You can call my office just to see
Yeah.
if they can lead you to the right people that deal with that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm not sure if we take care of it. But you can call.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they can give you some help.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. So that was. So we're talking about societal norm, and as a good citizen, I think I'm a good citizen of the neighborhood. Just asking the public works department, what should I do? So I'll call it in, because recently we just had on the news where a home blew up, and they are still trying to figure out where the gas leak is. So let's call that in. So we're talking about being a normal person, a normal citizen of a normal society. Well, all societies are not too normal. I was just talking about the discrimination of things. So that's one of the things, discrimination, you have to watch out for and be mindful of as you deal with the issues of things. Look at the dreary day, man. Look at the thing. No sunshine. Well, so another thing that helps you to be to really stay in the society, if you decide to stay in the society and not be a hobo, but even if you're a hobo, you're still in the society, but you're roving around from one state to the next, or one city to the next, and that's not good. That's not good. That's not good in that sense. Yes, the other thing we're talking about is, you, apart from politics and work, then it can be religion, or, and I said that before, you are free to worship and have your own belief according to your background or your own thinking. And so in this society, There is a separation so far. There's a separation between church and state. Although I've seen there's a little trickle over. I'm not even gonna say which side it's happening, but it's happening on both sides. In the religious structures, there's politics, and in the politics, there is religion. So we find that although the founding fathers wanted complete separation, we we can't separate it fully. We can't separate it, folks. You know, because if you're going to church in to Catholic church or Protestant church, you are going as a member of the society, and the society is political. You're going in. Now, how when you go into church can you drop all of that? Can you drop all of that? Maybe not. Maybe or maybe not. If you're a strong religious person of strong faith, sometimes you stop at the door, you drop the politics, and you go in and you worship. And so, at that moment, for an hour and a half or 2 hours, you drop that part of yourself. And then when you leave the door again, you come right back and go into the workplace or the classroom or whatever, back into the politics of things. And so it's hard. So here we are. So Shippy the Explorer is just, we're talking today and exploring the fact that I'm giving you the choice. Do you want to be a Hobo, or you want to be a member of the society, considering the hills and the drawbacks of both? Now, let me remind you, the Hobos, you are just traveling around, you have a few dollars in your pocket, you don't have anything, or you don't have anything, and you have to beg, or for God forbid, you have to steal, and you have a couple pieces of clothes on your back. Your shoes is deteriorated. There are holes in the bottom of your shoes, and you're cold, or sometimes you're super hot, depends on which part of the country you go. And what do? For food, you're hungry. So you go near to a food place and you dive into the trash can and you get something to eat. Is that a good way to live? No, but it's a reality of life where even in this rich society, Shippy the Explorer gonna tell you now, even in rich America, even in College Park here, folks, we have hunger and homelessness. Hunger and homelessness exist. Member of the family goes down to the week Meals on Wheels program, and there's a weekly cooking for people. But those are mainly for shuttles. But here we are. We have a day center where we have even up to 40 people come each day, eat twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then you walk around the society on the side of the streets and you look around, and there are folks who are homeless, who really don't have anywhere to live. You see them packed up in the corners with their only possessions. They are trying to keep warm. So even in a rich society like this, there are homeless. And it's unfortunate, it's part of the society. So now, when we suggest, as on the political side of things, when members who are conscious of this condition, and we're saying we want to discuss homelessness And we want to say the politicians need to be to change their policies that we have homes, we cut down on the homelessness of this society. Then we have a lot of times we have resistance in there. The policies take a long time to change. So we are saying as responsible citizens of this society that um, we're not looking down on people who are homeless because, as I said, it could be something that is beyond our control. It could be physical, it could be mental, it could be economical. So today, Shippy the Explorer is saying, even in this dreary weather, I want to encourage us that we look at the good that we have, the family that we have, the little warmth that we have, the resources that we have, the, the love that we have from friends and family and from societies. We should try to make a concerted effort to be thankful for all of that. Be thankful for all of that. And you get to that stage a lot of times through religion. And so, even in a dreary condition, give thanks and be supportive to others. Because once you do that, you find that once you do that, repeat, once you do that in support of others, you'll find that you yourself strive to a better level, a better standard in your own condition. And if it is physical disabilities, then you have life. Whatever situation you have, give thanks for what you have. Give thanks. So, that's the message today. That Shippy's Explorer who gave us the argument between versus being a responsible citizen and an hobo. And I'm saying, in any given condition, I think Shippy the Explorer is encouraging us to be on the side where we live responsibly, love strongly, support evenly, and may the effervescence of our soul comes comfort for yourself and others, so that we will have sunshine within the cloudy, dreary day. Sunshine in our souls. And so, I close this tape today and saying, stay on the good side of life as much as possible. And if you find that you have difficulty and you're shifting to the other side, call for help, seek help, and hopefully you will stay within the better side of society. Hobos versus a responsible citizen. We stay on the responsible side. Like, share, and subscribe. Like and share if you think Shipping Explorer has something to say. but I think I do. Love you. Take care. And we'll see you next video when we discuss the next situation in life. Bye for now. Going back inside where it's warm. Can get something to drink to. And that's a blessing. Be blessed. See you. Well, just for the record, folks, I know I closed the tape off, but I'm being a responsible citizen today. I was, when you saw me express the fear that I was smelling gas in the neighborhood, I came back to the house and I said, as a responsible citizen, I need to call it in. So that's what I did. I called the Washington Gas and reported it that strong gas smell is has been in the area for some time and it's getting worse. So for the records, if anything goes, because you have had something on the news where a whole house blew up just days ago. So for the records, Shipping Explorer has reported a gas leak in the area in my neighborhood, 7312 Radcliffe. So be a good neighbor.